What if writing a great story wasn't really about some flash of artistic genius, but more about building a perfect machine? Today, we're going to dig into this really cool method that looks at storytelling through the lens of pure mechanical precision. So, let's dive right in.
This image of an intricate clockwork, it just perfectly captures the whole idea. It suggests that a truly great story isn't just something that pops into your head from inspiration. No, it's something that's meticulously built. Think about it. It's like a machine where every single gear, every tiny little spring, has a job to do, and it has to work perfectly with everything else.
And this brings us to a really big question for any writer, right? Is a story this spontaneous work of art, or is it a machine? Now, I know a lot of us lean towards art, but we're about to explore a super powerful argument for treating your story like a precisely engineered device.
So where did this whole mechanical approach to storytelling even come from? Well, you might be surprised to find out it didn't come out of some big professional writer's room. It actually started from just one simple moment of insight.
Okay, so picture this. The year is 2007. You've got two aspiring writers just sitting in a basic screenwriting class, and they're talking about the fundamentals of story structure that they're learning. And in that class, one of them just comes out with this question, and honestly, it's a total game changer. It completely reframes storytelling, from art to science. Think about it. What if the rules of plot and character weren't just creative guidelines? What if they were as fixed as the laws of physics? What if writing a great script was less about feeling your way through it and more about solving a math problem?
And look, this wasn't just some idea they talked about and forgot. This timeline shows how this concept was really put to the test. It started as a little spark back in 2007, but then for the next 4 years, it was rigorously tested and tweaked across 5 different screenplays. By the time 2011 rolled around, it had gone from a simple question to a legit essential tool for professional writing.
Okay, so what does this clockwork principle actually mean when you're the one staring at a blank page? Let's break down the core philosophy behind it. It all boils down to one word: precision. This whole thing is about treating your screenplay structure not like a rough sketch, but like an actual engineering blueprint. Every scene, every little character beat has a very specific size, a specific shape, and a specific place it has to go. And in this way of thinking, good enough just doesn't cut it.
This analogy is just perfect. Think of your screenplay like a car engine, right? It's got thousands of parts, and if just one bolt is the wrong size, the whole thing can just seize up and die. A screenplay is exactly the same. That one scene where a character does something totally illogical, that's your wrong-sized bolt. That bit of dialogue that doesn't push the plot forward, that's a faulty spark plug. The rule is simple, and it's absolute. Every single component has to be perfect. And this quote, wow, it really drives home how high the stakes are. The goal isn't just to make a good story, it's to make a story that fundamentally works. A single weak plot point, a character who acts against their own nature, a scene that just goes nowhere. Any one of those things can be that one broken spring that brings your entire story machine to a grinding halt. Okay, so we've got this perfectly built machine. It's beautiful, it's precise, but what does it actually do? What's the function of this engine-like structure? So what's the point of all this precision, right? Why go to all this trouble? Well, the answer is pretty simple. A perfect structure isn't just a container for your story, it is the very engine that drives the whole thing forward. This kind of precise structure actually does 4 critical things. First, it makes you ensure every component is flawless. Each scene has to work perfectly on its own. Second, it guarantees that all those flawless parts connect together precisely, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. Third, because everything fits so well, it creates this organic movement, making the story feel natural and inevitable. And finally, when you have all that, it becomes the narrative fuel, the gasoline that keeps your story running strong all the way to the very end.
So how can you actually use this in your own writing? We've talked about the theory, so let's shift gears and talk about how you can apply it.
If you only take one thing away from all this, let it be this right here. The next time you sit down to write or revise, try to shift your perspective. Stop seeing your story as this single, messy piece of art. Instead, start seeing it as a system, a beautiful, complex system of interconnected, precision-engineered parts.
So we'll leave you with a final question to ask about your own work. Is every single scene a perfectly crafted gear? Do they all connect and turn together smoothly without grinding? In other words, are the gears of your story in perfect alignment?